Some women will never experience this joy, no matter how hard they pray.
The baby shower went completely silent when Kemi laughed and said, "Some women will never experience this joy, no matter how hard they pray." She said it loudly. She said it smiling. Everyone knew who she was talking about because her best friend Tola was standing right beside her. Tola froze. She tried to smile, but her lips shook. Her fingers dug into her handbag, like she needed something to hold her together. Kemi had always been blunt, but ever since she got pregnant, she had become cruel. They had been best friends since school. They shared clothes, secrets, and dreams. They promised to raise their children together, but life didn't keep that promise. Kemi got pregnant barely 1 year after marriage. Tola had been married for 6 years with no child. She tried everything: hospitals, needles, drugs that made her sick, prayer houses where she knelt until her legs went numb. Kemi knew all of it. She knew about the nights Tola cried alone. She knew about the relatives who whispered behind her back. She knew how much Tola blamed herself, yet she still made it a joke. At family gatherings, Kemi would shout, "Auntie Tola, carry the baby. Maybe it will rub off on you." People laughed awkwardly. Tola swallowed the pain. At the baby shower, Kemi stood up to make a toast. She rubbed her stomach and said, "I pray every woman gets this blessing, because a marriage without children is empty." Some people clapped. Some people looked away. Tola felt like the ground was opening beneath her. That night, Tola got home and locked herself in her room. She cried until her eyes burned. She cried until there were no tears left. She stared at the ceiling and whispered, "God, am I not enough?"
See, you have only one more time to mock me for not having a child before I tell your husband he is not the owner of that pregnancy.
Tola did not sleep that night. By morning, her tears were gone. What was left was something colder. She went straight to Kemi's house, not to cry, not to beg, but to speak. Kemi welcomed her with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "So you finally decided to visit?" Kemi said. "I was beginning to think you were avoiding me." Tola stepped inside and closed the door gently. Then she spoke. "I heard everything you've been saying about me." Kemi laughed lightly. "What things?" "All the jokes, the comments, the way you humiliate me in front of people," Tola said. "You know exactly what you've been doing." Kemi crossed her arms and shrugged. "Ah, Tola, you're too sensitive. It's just jokes. Don't you have thicker skin by now?" That was when Tola's voice changed. "You mocked my prayers. You mocked my marriage. You mocked my pain." Kemi rolled her eyes. "Please, if the truth hurts, that's not my fault." Tola took a slow step closer. "Do you want the truth?" she asked calmly. Kemi smirked. "Say it." Tola looked her straight in the eye. "That baby you're carrying is not your husband's." The room went quiet. Kemi's smile disappeared. "What nonsense are you saying?" she snapped. Tola didn't raise her voice. She didn't shout. She simply said, "I know." Kemi laughed nervously. "You're losing it. 6 years without a child can do that to a woman." Tola leaned in slightly. "You were drunk that night. You cried. You told me everything." Kemi froze. "You begged me not to judge you," Tola continued. "You said it was a mistake. You said your husband could never find out." Kemi's hand started shaking. "You wouldn't dare," she whispered. Tola straightened up. "You destroyed my name publicly," she said. "You made people laugh at me." Then she added slowly, "If you don't stop, I will go straight to your husband and tell him the truth." Kemi's face turned pale. "You wouldn't do that to me," she said. "We are best friends." Tola smiled faintly. "Best friends don't do what you did to me." She picked up her bag and walked toward the door. At the door she stopped. "One more joke," Tola said quietly. "One more word." Then she turned back and said the sentence that broke Kemi completely. "And I won't just tell him, I'll show him." Tola walked out. And for the first time since the baby shower, Kemi was afraid. Kemi did not sleep for days. Every time her phone rang, her heart jumped. Every time her husband looked at her for too long, she panicked. She stopped going out, stopped posting pictures, stopped making jokes. But fear has a way of exposing people. One evening, her husband Kunle came home earlier than usual. He found Kemi sitting alone in the living room, sweating, staring at nothing. "What's wrong with you?" he asked. "You've been acting strange." Kemi forced a smile. "I'm just tired." Kunle sat down slowly. "Tired of what?" Before she could answer, the doorbell rang. Kemi froze. Kunle stood up to open the door. It was Tola, calm, well-dressed, composed. "Good evening," Tola said politely. "I need to speak with both of you." Kemi's knees weakened. Kunle looked confused, but stepped aside. They all sat down. The silence was heavy. Tola spoke first. "I didn't come here to fight," she said. "I came to tell the truth." Kemi shook her head violently. "No, no, don't listen to her." Kunle turned to his wife. "What truth?" Tola reached into her bag and placed her phone on the table. "You mocked me publicly," Tola said, looking at Kemi. "You thought I was weak." Then she turned to Kunle. "She told me everything herself." Kemi screamed. "She's lying." Tola pressed play. A voice filled the room. Kemi's voice, crying, drunk, confessing, saying the baby was not her husband's, begging Tola not to tell anyone. Kunle stood up slowly. His hands were shaking. "Is this true?" he asked quietly. Kemi collapsed to the floor. "I was scared," she cried. "It was a mistake." Kunle laughed bitterly. "You let me celebrate another man's child," he said. "You humiliated my marriage." He turned to Tola. "I'm sorry," he said. "I didn't know." Tola nodded. "I didn't want revenge," she said. "I wanted respect." She walked toward the door. As she opened it, Kunle said angrily, "You're a better woman than this one." Tola stepped outside. The air felt lighter. And then Kemi woke up from her sleep and realized it was all a dream. So she picked up her phone immediately and called Tola, apologizing profusely, and swore never to mock her again.